This podcast is sponsored by Logitech. Ruff! Hi, I'm here for the second Khoollect on the Couch podcast, and I'm here with Oli Juste. Did I say that right?
Yes, you did.
Who is a dog behavioural trainer.
I'm a dog trainer and dog behaviourist.
Okay, great. Cool. Welcome.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Nice to be here. Right, first question. Tell us how you got into dog training.
Okay, well, I think like many dog trainers, it started because of a dog, really.
Yeah.
Going back, I'm from France originally.
Okay.
So I grew up in between three big farms. We had a house there. My mum was a teacher, so we were always surrounded by animals. Where the house was always surrounded by dogs and cows and things like this. So I think I was always interested in animals.
Yeah, you're an animal person.
And then I studied all sorts of different things, but nothing to do with animals when I was younger. I wanted to be a photographer for a while. I did all sorts of different things. But then I moved to London a very long 20 years ago. And when I was 20, I moved to London and started working in hospitality, which was a big part of my life. I worked for many wonderful restaurants in London when I was younger, and then I worked for Soho House for
Nice.
12 and a half years. And then towards the end of my career at Soho House, I was head of learning and development. So I was training people. I was doing managerial skills and all sorts of things. And it was brilliant. I love food, I love drinking, this is how I met Rachel originally, through Soho House and through food and pastries, and I love the food together. Yeah. So that was that. And alongside this, of course, I couldn't have a dog living in London doing such. Had a really busy, hectic schedule. Long hours. But one day I met my current boyfriend, who was working in theatres. So he was working night, evening, I working days, and we thought together, oh my God, we'll probably have the best setup now to get a dog. Yeah. So we finally got a dog, and then...
What kind of dog?
Is a Springer Spaniel Parson Russell cross.
Okay.
So a little black dog that potentially could look a bit like a Patterdale Terrier, but he's a mix, he's a mutt.
Is that Bernard?
That's Bernard.
Oh,
yeah.
Bernard.
Yeah. And so, as soon as I got him, I just decided that I was so busy with Soho House, I wanted to have some sort of escape. Doing something else. So I started to study dog behaviour, which was really something on the side. It was never something that I was going to. I never dreamed that I could be doing this as a job. But I started to study, and I did quite a few courses, and then I really enjoyed it. It was wonderful to be able to look after my dog in the way that I did.
Yeah.
It was really exciting to learn new things. And it really became my second, it became my passion, really. So I decided to leave my job at the time, and I was going to, at the time I wanted to open a sort of social hub for dogs where people could come and work on the side and have their dogs playing on the other. And I had done absolutely no research when I quit. I just said, right, I'm going to do this. I've got a bit of money on the side. This is what I'm going to do. And then so I left Soho House, and then I gave myself a few months to relax. And then when I started putting my business plan together, I realized that wasn't going to work. I didn't have enough money. I didn't have enough resources. I don't think I was business orientated enough to have such a big business straight away. Yeah. So then I thought, what am I going to do? I don't have a job. I've got nothing. But then I started to look into dog training. So there's two different things. There's dog behavior and dog training. Both very much work hand in hand. So I worked with the APDT, the Association of Pet Dog Trainers. It's a wonderful association who teaches dog training and classes. So I did my first year with them, and that was wonderful. And I just realized all those people around me were already dog trainers. Yeah. Yet still studying. So I thought, oh, maybe I can just do a bit of this. That would be wonderful. And that's how it started. We put a very small website together. My partner helped me do that. We put a little website together, and and it grew from there, really. And I became extremely busy last September, September 2015. I started to be quite busy. By January 2016, I was already generally booked a month in advance. And then we are now in October, are we? October 27th of October, and I'm fully booked until February next year. So it's just wonderful. It's very exciting. And it's not like I'm part-time. I'm working all the time. But it's really exciting. It's slightly overwhelming sometimes, but
you're still enjoying it?
I love it. I absolutely love it. I think I've got a dream job. And I'm so proud of what we've achieved, and I'm so proud of all the dogs that I'm looking after. I'm extremely proud of all my clients who I see do so well with their dogs, and their relationship with their dogs is just great. So it's very rewarding. It's fun, and all the tough, starting your own business, traveling between clients, doing your invoices, and all those things that I absolutely hate. This is a bit stressful, but then you spend an hour with a dog, and then they boost you. They just it's the seeing the dog is the relaxing part.
I have heard that dogs, being around dogs actually makes you very relaxed.
Yeah. It's lower your blood pressure. It's a wonderful feeling.
Yeah, my grandparents are actually guide dog trainers.
Amazing.
Yeah, and they get involved with the local university where they they actually bring in their own dog, and all the students kind of pet the dogs for around exam period because it's meant to relax.
Absolutely, yeah. There's a wonderful charity called Pet Therapy. They would do similar things, but in a very structured environment with kids that have learning difficulties or who are anxious, or the kids who suffer from autism or other behavioural issues. It's a great charity. Yeah, it's brilliant. Do you have a dog?
I don't have a dog. I look after my boyfriend's mum's dogs. They're two Westies.
Oh, nice.
They're 9 and 10, and they're really fun to look after. We take them for a walk at Richmond Park quite a lot.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Very fancy.
Yeah, I think we've actually filmed them on the Circle project.
Okay.
The Logitech Circle. So, and some of the footage is just really funny.
Oh, I want to see that.
Yeah, they're to look after. So you said that you're an ethical dog trainer and with an emphasis on behaviour. Can you explain what that means to?
Yeah, so that means that we are not using pain, or we're not using punishment as a way of teaching. This is, this theory is neither new or groundbreaking, but sadly there's still a lot of trainers out there, dog trainers, and I'm sure with other animals too, that uses punishment to teach, to train, fear. So I don't use any of this, and we only use positive reinforcement. We are setting up the dog for success. We're trying to understand the dog, and so we're kind to the dog. We're doing everything with the dog in mind. And it's very important. I think there's a lot of the tutors that have taught me were very honest and said, hands up. 15 years ago, 10 years ago even, we thought this was the right thing to do. Being the dog's boss, becoming the alpha, male or female. The dog is going to try to dominate you. If you have to eat before him, you have to, you can't let him on the sofa, and all of those things that, only really us, lovely but insecure humans could come up with something like this. And I think we were fooled. And so I don't do any of this. Really, we're using. I love using clicker training, which is a brilliant technique to mark good behaviour and to reward it well. I think the biggest thing that I try to do with my clients is setting the dog up for success. So instead of just waiting for the dog to make a mistake and then desperately trying to correct it, we always make sure that, especially to start with over the first few months of the puppy's life and then so on after that, we actually try to get the dog into a situation where he's already, he knows how to behave. So we're giving him strategies and other things to do
Yeah.
as opposed to letting him go free. And of course, he's going to be doing things that we don't really enjoy.
Yeah.
However, barking, digging, chewing, all of the things are quite normal for dogs. They're not being naughty, they're just doing what dogs do.
Yeah.
So I think it's really important to understand this, and that's what I try to do with my clients and my friends, and every single minute of every single day with anyone that I speak to. It's just to make sure that we're giving dogs strategies, what it is that they can do when they are confronted to a certain situation, and then that's why I really truly believe that if you want to be a good behaviorist, you have to be an amazing trainer, and if you want to be a good trainer, you have to have a really good understanding of behavior. It is not one or the other. I think you have to be able to do both.
It's a synergy of both
together. Completely. So there are two different jobs, but they complete each other.
Yeah. Well, talking of understanding, you talk a bit about dog park etiquette. Can you explain again, like, what that is, and give us some tips on? Because I go to the, as I said, like, I go to the park quite a lot with my boyfriend's mum's dogs, and I didn't even know it existed.
Etiquette.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's the same as when you go to the restaurant. You know, when you go to the restaurant with your boyfriend and with your boyfriend's mother, I'm sure you're very much on top of your own behavior, making sure you don't eat with your mouth open, don't put your knife in your mouth, that sort of stuff. And I think with dogs it's very, very similar. I think there's so many. I'm going to start with the ones that are probably the most important in my mind through experience. I think is if you are in an open park, let's say you go to Richmond and you are with your dogs and they're both off lead, and that's lovely, and your dogs have a great recall and you trust them and they don't have high prey drive, they're not going to be following the deers, and you're having a lovely time. But if you see another dog in the distance with their owner and the dog's on a lead, it is really important that you make sure that your dog stay away from this dog. So why? Well, if the dog is on the lead, there's probably a reason. It could be mainly two reasons. One, he could have a terrible recall. So the human wants to make sure, the owner wants to make sure the dog stays close. Second, it could be an aggressive dog. Now, not all, I have some clients that are absolutely wonderful, gentle, loving dog owners, and yet something has happened. Maybe it's a rescue dog, maybe something that happened when they were little has made them extremely nervous and potentially therefore aggressive. And it's really difficult. I put myself into those people that have dogs that are aggressive, that still want to walk their dog because their dog should still be walked. And then they, when they keep the dog on the lead to make sure it's safe, and yet other people come in and approach those dogs. So I think it's a good. You just never know. Maybe the dog is absolutely fine. Maybe it just has a poor recall. But in doubt, if you see another dog on the lead, you make sure your dogs stay near you. So you have to work on a really good recall. You can, and it's really important. And for obvious reasons, because actually, yes, that other dog potentially is dangerous, but those people still have to walk their dogs. We always have, when we think about, I think it's really important, I always really make sure I say this to people, but when we think about getting a dog, we always think about the romantic side of it. Oh, I'm going to sit on my sofa with my dog, he's going to love me, he's going to cuddle me, and then we'll go on long walks, but you know what, sometimes it rains, and you still have to take your dog out for a walk, and sometimes your dog might not be a very cuddly dog, and he doesn't really want to be touched, and that's okay. Or sometimes you might just get a rescue dog, and then that rescue dog has a few issues that you're going to have to deal with. That means that maybe he's not very friendly with kids, or he's not very friendly with other dogs. And then all of a sudden you find yourself in still a wonderful relationship with a dog, because I think they give you so much anyway, but situations where potentially you're out of your comfort zone. So you have to put yourself in other dog owners' shoes, really, I suppose, and actually really be aware of what's going on around you. So again, if you go into a fence, if you're about to enter a fenced dog area in a smaller park, always ask first, am I alright to come in? I'm with a puppy or so on, just ask a few questions before. I think it's really important. I am a big believer that dogs should be socialized off lead, as long as it's safe. And so therefore, I'm not a big fan of getting your puppy on the lead into a park and then ask other big dogs or indeed other puppies off lead to sort of circle around him.
Yeah.
When you are on the lead, you're not, if you were attached to somebody else, you're not yourself. You can't, a dog won't be able to turn his body in a certain angle. He won't be able to sniff the way we sniff usually.
Yeah.
So you're actually putting your dog in a very difficult situation on the lead. And then we then wonder why sometimes we have dogs that are lead reactive. Absolutely fine off lead, but nightmare when they're on the lead. Well, it's because you remember your dog's on one side of the lead, but you are on the other side of the lead. Yeah. And if you keep putting your dog in difficult situation, i.e. putting him on the lead, or her indeed, putting her or him on the lead in the middle of lots of other dogs, where he feels very uncomfortable because he's trapped. He's trapped, absolutely. Then don't wonder why then your dog has issues with other dogs. Yeah. People just put sometimes you take the dog for the school runs, for instance, great example, and attach the dog outside school. Think of the consequences of what you're going to do. You're going to have lots of, especially if your dog is cute. If you have a cute little puppy, every kid's going to want to go and say hi. Nobody's going to think twice. Bags are going to fall over him. You're putting him in a really difficult situation without any other strategies but to start growling and potentially then worse. So I think park etiquette it's not as they're actually I think very important skills to understand. If you meet another dog in the street on a lead, should you go and say hi or not? If you are if I approach the next set of the park with my dog, I might put Bernard back on the lead because we're about to leave. But if another dog was to approach off lead to come and sniff us and say hi to us, I would immediately take the lead off. I want Bernard to be able to say hi to this dog with all the freedom that he should have to say hi to this dog. And if he wants to walk away, he can walk away. Yeah. And that's no problem. The dog can probably do this. We'll understand this.
That's really interesting. You support an animal charity, is that right?
Yeah, a few actually. I'm a member of the RSPCA. That's the main one. There's a few other little charities here and there that we like to support. They do a wonderful job, I think. The RSPCA and Dog Trust probably are the two main when it comes to rescuing dogs. They're probably of course, you've got Battersea as well. We're very excited. We've always wanted to do something else than just being a member and getting involved. We wanted to do more with money. So we're very excited. We're just Rob, my partner, has been designing lots of sort of accessories for dogs, and we're just about to finalize a rope leather lead and collection. So we'll have leads, collars, toys. The toys are already out, but we're still finalizing this, and we want to be. We're probably going to give a part of the money we make on some of those leads to Dog Trust.
That's so nice.
So we were discussing that only just a few days ago because we wanted to do something a little bit more specific. So we don't know if we're going to be having if one lead in particular will be sort of the Dog Trust lead or if we can do it on all the product, we'll sort of have a look. But I think it's really important. I mean, I go to the RSPCA in Chobham sometimes, and the one in the Dog Trust in Loughborough, which is a wonderful. They have wonderful kennels. They're just the team is amazing, and they do they can happy to give you tools and tell you more about what they do, and it's. I find it really. I don't think I could do it. I think you have to have so much strength to see dogs in such a state. I find seeing some of my clients sometimes who rescue dogs, it's you carry it with you for days when you see a dog that's been in pain, left, and also sometimes traumatized. And you see this, and I think it's very difficult. I think they're amazing.
Can you give us some tips on if someone was considering a rescue dog, like what they should consider, and two tips on
They should think harder now. So I'm going to be quite controversial. I hope you don't get any nasty comments on this.
Sure we won't.
There's big hashtags and adopt, don't shop, and I totally agree with it. There's so many wonderful dogs that are there up for adoption that really need a home. However, there's another side of it, is that it's not necessarily going to be the romantic idea you had of rescuing a dog who's going to be thankful forever and who's going to love you unconditionally and so on. Rescuing can be really, really, really tough. And I've seen some clients who have rescued and who were very proactive or not, but who somehow managed to have a beautiful relationship with their dogs. And there's many, many success stories. So by all means, I'm not saying you should not rescue. Indeed, you should. However, before you do, you have to think hard, because your new dog will come with baggages. It will come with issues which you might not see straight away. People sometimes get the honeymoon period. I think it's not a honeymoon period. I think the dog is shocked because he's now in a home, and is potentially now looked after, and that's a shock to the system.
Which is really different to maybe how he was treated at a rescue home.
Completely, or indeed before the rescue home. Where sometimes we're lucky enough to have some history. Sometimes we have nothing, and you can only guess. But generally, we can guess well. And then you have a dog that suffers from terrible separation anxiety, or will suffer from, and that's something that can appear once the dog's with you and it's got attached to you. Will suffer from aggression towards other dogs, and so on. And again, that's not always necessarily spotted when the dog is in the rescue center. That thing can come up later, and you have to be able to think, okay, if the dog I'm picking up comes with all those baggages and all those problems, am I going to be able to deal with it? Because it's going to take time. It takes time. It takes courage, patience. It's very difficult. And I think what you have to think is, if you can't deal with that, then what's going to happen? You have to give the dog back to the kennel, to the rescue center, to the shelter, and then okay, they might know a little bit more about the dog, so they might be able to get him a new home with somebody else that's more suitable, but again, maybe not. So as much as I think rescuing is definitely the thing to do, is the thing to look after, I think twice. Just make sure you have enough time. People sometimes say, I work from home. How long are you going to be working from home? A dog is 10, 15 years. Commitment. So are you going to be working from home for the next 2 years, and then you might change job, and that might not be a home setup, and then what happens? So whatever it is, I think ask for advice, get some help, make sure you set up your dog for success. So let's say you work from home. Make sure you leave home every day. Make sure you leave your puppy for a little bit of time every day, so it becomes used to you going in and out. So go to the gym, go and get a coffee, go and work. Don't do everything with your dog. So if by any chance at some stage your dog's later in life, your dog has to spend some time on his own, then he's able to deal with it. He's got strategies to cope with this absence. Instead of just thinking, I'm going to be working from home forever. It's unlikely. You just never know. So you've got to think about a lot. And with a rescue dog, a lot has to be think about. I love when people call me in advance saying, we're about to get a rescue next week. Can you give us some tips? It's great. It's generally quite successful when people already know that they might have to see a dog trainer or a behaviourist, just even sometimes to understand dog's body language. What is the dog trying to tell you? So I think reading books, there's some, maybe I'll give you some books that you can add into this, into the part of books to read that people might find really interesting. I'll send you some books for you to attach.
Thanks. Which dogs have you most enjoyed to train?
I love every dog. I personally probably have a bit of a soft. I quite like gun dogs. I quite like a nice Sprocker, a lab.
Yeah.
But but I enjoy working with every dog. I think I like when I have a client. I like when a client says, "Oh, my dog is really stupid," and I'm like, "We shall see." We very much humans are very good at we calculate IQ. When with dog, it's not about IQ. It's cognition. How much can they make us do things for them? That's really smart. When a dog is stuck doing something, they have a tilt their head, look at you, and say, "No, I need you now." That's very clever. That's not stupid. That's actually, I can't do it. I don't have opposable thumbs. I can't talk. You need to be doing this for me. That's extremely clever. So I think I couldn't tell you. I think I like working with every dog.
Yeah.
As I said, I quite like. I've got a little sprocker in my book at the moment called Stella, who's maybe 16 weeks old.
Okay.
And she's with a lovely family. Tom is a sort of young adult teenager who's the owner of the dog.
Right.
So he's in charge, but the whole family is extremely involved. And just spending an hour with her, she's just so much fun. She's so lively. She's so smart. I wasn't training the dog. I was training the family to cope with a smart dog.
Right.
She's maybe, I think she's 17 weeks. She was 17 weeks last week. When she needs to go to the loo, she now picks up. We didn't train her to do this. She picks up a lead and goes and see the human and say, basically, I need to go out. So, this is at 17 weeks. That's a very smart little puppy that's really understanding how she can get people around her to do things to help in her life. I think that's wonderful. I mean, I see that and I just melt. She's gorgeous, yeah.
Have you had any challenging dogs, or have you had any funny stories?
Well, that's two. So challenging dogs, yes. So I'm a dog trainer, so I do a lot of stuff with puppies and just help people with recall and total training and all that sort of stuff. But I'm also a dog behaviourist, where people call me because they have dogs that are aggressive, dog aggression, dog human aggression, that are suffering from separation anxiety or risk guarding. There's all sorts of problems that dogs can have in the future, as adults. So challenging, challenging. I think working on my own, I probably said there'll be at least a dog a week that is challenging. Not necessarily. It's challenging because sometimes you don't get it right straight away. It's really important to assess the dog, and sometimes it's not. I've got pretty high success rate, but sometimes the challenge is to think, okay, this is not working. We've tried this and it hasn't worked. We're doing this and it's still not making much of a difference. What's going to happen next? It's like people. Everyone's different. People just assume it's it's easy to just. You said the word banana and the dog is fixed. It's way harder than this. I think people understand this, but it's hard because, in essence, of course, I want my clients to be happy, but at the end of the day, it's the dog's happiness that I have at heart. So I need to. Also, sometimes you have to make sure, where it's challenging is you have to make sure that you help the clients so they can help their dog. Because once you're gone, you're gone. The humans there, the owners are going to have to do all the work. And so it's really important, I think, as a dog trainer and dog behaviourist, you have to be very approachable with people. You have to really make sure that people can do it. Although when I get someone's home, I would want to just go and cuddle the dog and the puppy and just spend all my time with them. It's really the humans that you have to spend time with. It's the humans that you have to communicate with. It's the humans that you have to make them feel confident. And because they're the one doing the work, they're the owners. You're going home after this. You're going to look after your own dog. So that's the challenge.
That's where your experience with working at Soho House probably really helps.
Yes, absolutely. I've trained people for a long time. Having talked to, when I opened in Chicago, we had 700 members of staff to train. So I think we divide that into two, and we were doing training to groups of 450 people. I think you're right. I think it's useful to have this ability on the side to just be quite clear with people and notice what it is that they need. So everyone's slightly different. So people will need to look at you a lot and then they're able to do it. Some of them will need to be doing it straight away and be told what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong. But whatever you do, you have to be extremely positive and just really give some really good feedback. Just like with dogs, you know, I click and treat with dogs. I'm telling dogs what they're doing well. I also want to set up the humans for success. So I don't have to tell them off to say you shouldn't be doing this. You know, I'm gonna give them so much parameters that they actually don't have a choice, but they don't have a choice. They have to do that.
Yeah.
And it's vital, because otherwise you go home and you think, oh, that poor little puppy all on his own in that woman's kitchen. You know what's going to. So you've got to make sure, if you want a good night's sleep, you've got to make sure that you're fairly confident that the humans are doing the right job. I was in Carbon Common the other day, and this puppy started bouncing this dog started bouncing towards me. And I was with another client, so I was in the zone with somebody else, and this dog was just jumping on me. And I was looking at him thinking, do I know you? You must be knowing me, because you look like you know me. And he was obviously very happy to see me. And then I was looking around, I couldn't see any, and then I saw the human, and I was like, aha! But he had grown, you know, he was a year older, he had a haircut, and so it was really nice. But it was really nice that from far away, he saw me, and, you know, he was one of my clients a year ago. And Recall was brilliant, obviously, until he saw me. Recall was brilliant, and he was, you know, the guy was like, I'm very happy, you know, it's brilliant. But it was, that was nice. It's nice when you see. It's like, I think when you're a teacher and you see your old pupils and they're doing well, so that was very nice. And he recognized me from miles away, so that was lovely. Nice. And you can see me from far away. Oh yeah, it's
I really want a dog now.
Yes, well, be careful.
Yeah.
Can you bring dog at work?
I don't know. I might have to, you know, find out from the boss. Whether we're allowed, because that would be a good perk.
Yeah. Well, ask Rachel to call me. I'm sure I can sell the idea.
Yeah, I would love that.
Yeah.
But yeah. Oh well, thank you so much for coming.
No, my pleasure. Thanks for having me. It was lovely.
Yeah, it was really nice to meet you in person.
Great.
We've obviously got your feature on our website.
Lovely.
But we'll write this up and everything will be great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.